Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're super glad that you are here. This is the airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer. This is Robert Grieve. And today we have a very interesting and informative conversation that we think you're going to be interested in. Now, if this is your first time here visiting the channel, we want to say thank you. Welcome. Super glad that you have taken the time to come and join us. Don't forget to click the like button if you like what you see. That always helps the YouTube algorithm. It only takes a second to click it. You're not going to get billed for anything, I promise you that. But it does show this video to more people, and that's really our purpose here. And then, of course, if you're an old-timer, regular here, hi. It's good to see you. All right. No matter what, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the notify bell, and that'll let you know every time we post new content. Or you can just check your watch because it happens every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time. All right, Rob. What are we talking about today?
Well, first off, happy Saturday.
And to you.
Happy Saturday to you.
Friends.
And happy Saturday, Janelle.
Janelle.
Happy Saturday, Kathleen.
Kathleen,
and
thank you.
To all you other folks, we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. We're super glad that every one of you is here. And wow, that's a personalized greeting.
Well, you know, we see them quite often.
I love that.
Say hey.
Love you guys.
So today we're going to talk about how do you know if your car was repaired properly.
How do you know if your car was repaired properly? Okay.
So we got another little case study.
I love case studies.
You know, how do you know what parts were used and procedures and so on and so forth?
Okay.
And a lot of that will be outlined on your estimate or your repair bill, blueprint, whatever it is you want to refer to it as.
We've got videos that are available.
Plenty
I'll put a
of them.
link up here to the one about the estimates so that you can see what you're looking for and how to read it.
Yeah, and it's important that you get these estimates like before the repairs start, during the repairs if they're updated at all, so you have a sense of how your car is being repaired. And if you have a question, you can reach out to somebody else and say, can you tell me what all this stuff means?
Okay.
So, because it's important.
All
it's
right.
important. So today we're going to tell a story of a 2020 Honda Ridgeline.
Oh, now, you know that I have a soft spot in my
I know
heart
you do.
for the Honda Ridgeline because
You don't have a Ridgeline. You do have a soft spot.
I had a Ridgeline in 2006. Mine had 5 miles on it when it came off of the showroom floor, and I drove it for 5 years and loved it. Now, all those of you haters out there, we don't do that here.
No, there's no haters.
2020 Ridgeline. So it's basically new.
1,500 miles.
Oh, it's brand new.
It's brand new.
Okay.
It's still got the temp on the back of it.
Okay, all right.
And this vehicle, it's my understanding that there was some conversation at home as to whether he really needed this vehicle or not.
Oh, well, the answer is clear. You absolutely need this vehicle.
And it's been a dream vehicle of his for a very long time. So it's not just a car.
This is a wise man.
This is somebody that sought out this vehicle and wanted this specific vehicle, and it finally came to fruition, and he gets this vehicle. What he didn't plan on was having an accident within 1,500 miles of owning the vehicle.
You know, why do all the stories around here start with an accident?
Yeah, you know, all these cars are wrecked around here. Anyway, he took the vehicle to a very large national chain that he felt would repair his baby correctly. And it was convenient because they also happened to be part of the network for the insurance company.
We have established that conversation many times here on this channel, and I will put a link to one of those as to why that may not be as good a deal as you expect it to be.
No.
Like, ever.
Nope. And so there the nightmare begins.
Yeah.
And, you know, to play on the insurance company's logo just a little bit,
Yeah.
it's like they're turning your dreams into nightmares.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. So after 3 months of this vehicle being at the shop, he gets the call. Time to come get your vehicle.
I'm sorry, did you say 3 months?
3 months. 3 months.
Took 3 months to repair this vehicle.
Yep.
Okay. Must have been a lot of damage.
Yeah. Not really. Not for 3 months. But regardless, he gets the call that his vehicle's ready. Come get it. And he drives down there because he can't wait to get back into his baby.
Sure.
And, goes in, pays the bill, looks at the car or the Ridgeline. It's looks beautiful. Gets in the car and gets ready to head home.
Yeah. Happy ending.
The seat belt is not working.
The seat belt.
The seat belt is malfunctioned. And so he can't drive the car. And he leaves the car with them to get the seat belt fixed.
Here's a picture of the seat belt.
Mm-hmm.
Embarrassing. That as I'm showing the picture of the seatbelt, Rob, this seatbelt has a deployment
Mechanism inside of it. It's called a pretensioner, and you may have felt some of this because if you ratchet the seatbelt, you'll feel it suck you in a little bit.
Right.
Well, if the pretensioner goes, that only happens one time,
Right.
and then the seatbelt is useless.
Got it.
But that cinches you in real tight.
Yeah.
In preparation for an airbag to deploy. Doesn't mean the airbag's going to deploy, but it could deploy.
I
But
see.
it's going to keep you cinched in. But once that it's done and over with, once it's done its job, it's done.
You have to replace the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to replace both sides.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
Gesinte and the Gesante.
Got it. Those are technical terms, by
Yes.
the way, Gesinte and Gesante, and you can look them up at nylundscollision.com.
Yeah. So he was a little distressed
Yeah.
when he left to go back home, and he let his fingers do the walking, and eventually found us because he was looking for a second opinion on the overall repairs now.
Yes.
So just imagine for a second if the seatbelt was fine and functioning. He would have clicked, drove away, and that's it.
Yeah. As it was, he did not drive away. He left the car at this large nationwide shop.
For another 3 weeks. About.
3 more weeks.
For about another 3 more weeks.
Okay.
Yep. And so, you've heard me, if you've heard any of the other videos that we've done, I always talk about pre-scanning and post-scanning.
Always.
So pre-scanning is you plug into the computer system of the car and it does a self-check through the whole thing, and then it will tell you if there's anything that's malfunctioned or is still malfunctioning. It gives you stuff in history, it gives you stuff that's right now, and it would have come up that the seatbelt was deployed.
Sure.
I don't believe that was done because you would have known right then and there.
You don't believe they did a pre-scan?
Correct.
Okay.
And there isn't anything noted on the paperwork about it. So, and again, we go back to why the paperwork is so important. If he had sent me his original paperwork over, I would have noticed there's no pre-scan anywhere and said, make sure they pre-scan the car.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, the letters SRS.
Mm-hmm.
What do those stand for?
Supplemental restraint system.
Supplemental restraint
So that's
system.
not just your airbags. That's all your restraint systems. So
Including
your seat belts, airbags, all of that stuff.
So if they didn't do the pre-scan,
Mm-hmm. They might have just looked at the dashboard.
There would be no other way, right? What do you mean the dashboard?
If you just looked at the dashboard, it comes up with a message that the SRS is malfunctioning.
Perhaps I should show you a picture of that right in here.
Yeah. Yeah, so... And still we delivered a car with a broken
When you say we,
not us.
yeah, I'm gonna hold you
The
accountable
other
to
shop.
your personal pronouns here. They delivered the car
Yeah.
with the screen saying,
I don't know if the screen was saying that, but the seatbelt was... I'm sure that they cleared the system.
"Oh, okay." So they would have reset the dashboard, but
Yeah.
at one point or another, it was telling the techs, "Hey, problem."
Malfunction.
Okay.
Malfunction.
Yep.
So, anyway, he left the vehicle, went home, did some research, found us. Brian and I, we really take these things on, and we take them very personal when we do them.
Brian is the operations manager here at Nylund's.
Yep. He's we're all involved in your safety. Yeah. So whether we fix the car or not, we still, if we get to look and touch the vehicle, we want to make sure you're safe.
Sure.
So we start taking a look at it, and the vehicle looked very, very nice when it came in. It would, you know what? There was some dirt in the paint and some flaws in the paint that we noticed, but nothing, jumping off the page.
Safety-wise.
Yeah, safety-wise.
Yeah.
So, we take the bumper off. Naturally, we pre-scan the car first because that's what we always do first.
Yep.
Whether we're fixing the car or not fixing the car.
Yep.
We pull off the bumper cover and start to observe other things. But before that, we went through the paperwork. Before we even looked at the car.
Sure.
We went through the paperwork and see that there is an aftermarket hood installed on this vehicle with 1,500 miles on it.
They put an aftermarket hood on a brand new truck.
Yeah, so instead of replacing your diamond ring with a diamond, they replaced it with a...
Cubic zirconium.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Oh, jeez.
And also the air conditioning condenser is an aftermarket one on this brand new vehicle. And they put a refurbished headlight in it on one side. The other side, I guess they felt was fine. And so just on those items alone, I'm questioning, why would anybody allow this to happen to a brand spanking new car that doesn't even have 2,000 miles on it? Why would you put all this non-OEM equipment on the vehicle? And it's discouraging. And you would know that simply if you were looking at the estimate and reading it and understanding what they were doing to the vehicle.
Okay, so...
Again, it's important that you have the paperwork in your possession of what the plan is to repair your vehicle. You understand what's on it. You certainly ask them questions if you don't understand something.
Sure.
But if you see aftermarket or, AM next to something and the part number doesn't match other part numbers that are Honda part numbers in this particular case,
right,
then you know that something that is not made by Honda is going on the vehicle, and you need to raise your hand. Now, this company, their position is, we have this relationship with the insurance company. We have to follow their guidelines, and their guidelines say a refurbished headlight and an aftermarket air conditioning condenser and a aftermarket hood are within the policy, and that's what you get. But they didn't tell that to him. They didn't get... You need to be able to be presented with the option. I don't want that, even if I have to pay the difference, which really normally is not all that much.
Yeah. You said something that I wanted to maybe draw a little attention to. You mentioned that they put an aftermarket headlight on...
Refurbished headlight.
Refurbished headlight. On one side, because...
Right, so it was on somebody else's car, and whether they fixed it or polished it or whatever, they took it off. It's a used part.
Okay.
Is what it is.
All right.
That a company has made it shiny and whatever.
On a brand new...
On a brand new car.
Gotcha.
That with 1,500 miles on it. So I believe the body shop owes you the option of putting new parts on, even if your policy doesn't call for that. They ought to at least give you the option, and if you choose to say, if that's what the insurance company says, that's fine, great. If you listen to any of my vehicles or my videos, you're not going to go that way. You're going to say, no, I want factory parts on my car.
Right.
And you will also have an OEM rider on your policy, so your aftermarket parts get on, factory parts get on the car.
So you're repairing the car before it gets damaged. We talked about that in our last video.
Yep. So, in addition to, those things that we could just see without even looking at the car because we're reading the paperwork, incorrect welds, welding the structure in, there was corrosion protection present, but Honda requires that if you weld something, that you treat it with an epoxy primer and then you refinish it, not just put cavity wax on top of a bare weld. So they just put cavity wax on top of a bare weld. And some of them did not get cavity wax at all. So this thing would have started rusting tomorrow.
I hate it when they skip the cavity wax.
Yep. And it was very, very structurally not repaired well. Not welded in properly. Wrong types of welds. Welds too big, some too small. It's, just from that standpoint. And again, if we look at any of the other videos that we've done, like even the Honda one that we did the post-repair inspection on, the other one that was not that long ago.
I'll put a link to that right up here. And boy, oh boy, buckle up for that one because it is bad.
Yeah. So remember, just like that other one, we're going to tell you again, this radiator support holds your airbag sensors and also has a distance sensor mounted on the front for your adaptive cruise control.
Which slows you down if you're coming up on somebody.
Yep. Sends warning signs, all the rest of that stuff.
Yep.
Also talks to the SRS system. All of these things are integrated. And this radar that's on the front, behind the grill, has to be calibrated.
Sure.
Well, if the support is not welded into the right place, how can you be positive that it's calibrated properly? Because we also measured the frame of the vehicle. Our specs say that there's still damage present to the frame rails. So, I mean, this car is a mess.
We scanned it, said there's damage to the frame rails after they delivered it.
Yeah. There's still damage to the frame rails present, according to our equipment.
It's a nightmare.
There's just so many things wrong, and then we didn't even go down the track of how many radiator supports can you weld in, because the factory doesn't want you to weld on top of existing welds. They want you to weld next to them.
Okay.
So if the factory puts one in, there's your original welds. Now you cut that out, weld in another one, which are supposed to be next to the original welds, not on top of the original welds. Then if you cut that one out and put another one in, that can't be on the original welds or the welds you just did. So now you need another place, and you're going to run out of room. Not to mention you're damaging the part that you're welding to that isn't getting replaced. I know that's a lot of...
And I mean, I'm not I tell people all the time, I'm not the brightest bulb in the knife drawer, but correct me if I'm wrong, all of these welds, re-welds, weakenings, etc. are all going on a brand new truck that's already been in one accident. And what are the odds, what are the chances?
In the next 7 years, it might be in another one. Because that seems to be the number, 7 years.
And this is the thing that holds the sensors that deploy the airbags
and
slow you down. And 1/100th of a second makes a difference between life and death.
Yeah, so if the thing is welded in too robust or not robust enough, that's going to affect the timing of the airbags.
And this is what happens when the timing of airbags goes wrong.
So, again, we're dealing with a horrible situation. This gentleman has just been going through, it's hard. It's hard what he's going through. And we're here to help him, and we're going to help him all the way to the end. I brought up the radiator support because in the end, something went wrong with the first one they put in, so they cut that back out and welded in another brand new one. So we're on our third radiator support in this car, and it really kind of needs a fourth. How many radiator supports can you put in this car?
Maybe this is why it took 3 months.
And, what about the parts that the radiator support's been welded to 3 or 4 times?
Right.
Every time you weld, you're heating up that metal, and the metal is high strength steel. It doesn't react well to that, and you're weakening that metal every time. So I believe it probably needs new frame rails and other components. So this thing is just a horrible mess. So we started out the question with, how do you know if your car has been repaired correctly?
Yeah.
Well, getting a second opinion is not a horrible idea.
It's a good idea.
Being, especially if, something malfunctions and, it's kind of serious.
Speaking of something malfunctioning, I mean, we talked about the seatbelts. We talked about a lot of the things that either malfunctioned or could have malfunctioned, right? The notification of the sensors being bad or in need of attention. What about something as simple and straightforward as the headlamps?
Let's talk about the headlamps for a second, because they replaced that one with a used refurbished one.
Right.
And the other one they deemed to be fine, so they put that back in the car.
They took it out originally, but then
took it out originally because you got to take it out to put the radiator support,
Okay.
the welder support in.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, and I happen to have it right here.
Really?
So, I guess this is how we're going to end our show today.
All right.
So, I
wow.
don't even know if we can get this in the frame.
Rob, what a large headlamp
This
you
is
have.
the headlight on the other side that they didn't replace.
Okay. Yeah.
And if we turn it upside down and look at the back side,
Yeah.
the underside here, you'll see.
Let's
Move this out of the way.
Yep.
a little. It's broken.
Oh. That's not just a little broken. That's really bad. I mean, there's a hole where this is supposed to be.
Yeah, it should be, because it bolts here
Okay.
to the structure, but
That piece is completely...
it's a hole. So, let's see, I don't know if I can get a better picture
Get
or
it?
not, but here you go. I mean, and we put this back in. So as easy as this thing's going like this,
We didn't put this back
no,
in.
we didn't put this. They put it back
They
in.
put this back in. I
How
just want
do
to make
you-
sure we're the good guys in this story.
Put this in the car and not notice that it's broken.
It's impossible.
So,
It's negligent.
yeah. And because all the other bolts fasten that headlight in,
Yeah.
the only thing he might have noticed is a rattle.
rattle, sure.
Or water going into the headlight and it getting fogged up and stuff. So,
Oh my goodness.
it's not a bad idea sometimes to get a second opinion if you've got a little, was this thing really done right?
Well, this comes to the point then, Rob, where we have to ask, and we've asked before in these videos, how do you know which shop to trust? How do you know where to take your car? And if you have any questions about that, put those questions in the comment section below. We are happy to address and answer without any hesitation any of those questions. You can also go to our website, nylundscollision.com. I've got the link right here for you. Link is also in the description box below. And you can go there and see what we have to say about how do you know who to trust.
Or call me. Just pick up the phone and call me if you got a question. We'll be happy to review an estimate and say, you know what, this is what they're doing to your car according to this paperwork. Here's things that we feel should be on this estimate that aren't on there. Just like the estimate that we got back, they put the hood on there. The color didn't match originally, so they had to blend or paint the fenders as well. So we painted the hood and painted the fenders now.
In a different color than the rest of the car is. But
No, it looks good.
Okay.
It looks good now, but it wouldn't have looked good unless you blend the fenders. And if you're putting a hood on the car, right out of the box, you know you got to blend the fenders.
Sure.
Unless you're working for this insurance company that doesn't like to do that, and you're following their guidelines, and you're not communicating with the guest as to, what to do. Because then the guest can call the insurance company and say, hey, if my hood doesn't match, I'm not taking this car. So, but here's what the point I'm trying to make. There's nowhere mentioned on the paperwork that they blended the fenders. Yet the fenders now have a second set of base coat and clear coat on them in addition. So you sometimes don't even know what's been done to the vehicle. by looking at the paperwork. Somebody's got to put their eyes on it.
Wow.
So,
Well, I am grateful that the gentleman in question let his fingers do the walking,
Yep.
found us by way of these videos,
yep.
and called us, came in, got our assessment, and that, by the way, we don't charge for that. We're here to
Well, we
help.
don't charge you.
Yeah, right. And so, I'm glad that at least he came to us, and we were able to give him our valuation and assessment of the repair, and I use air quotes for repair, that was done at this other very large, nationwide, connected to the insurance company shop.
I should mention it's the same company that was that fixed the white Honda. Same company, not the same shop. The company has many, many, many shops on every corner, but it's the same organization.
In your estimation, is this a buyback?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can tell you that I'm not fixing it. It's
Too far gone?
yeah. You know what? I wouldn't want the liability of welding another radiator support in this thing.
Yeah.
Not without a whole lot of conversation from Honda.
All right. Hopefully this has been insightful for you, and you've got some information. We've given you our phone number, our website address. You've got the comment section below to contact us. Do us a favor, if you would, please. Click the like button, and and not only just the like button, because that helps YouTube
Algorithms.
that word. But also, if you would please, click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified. But all those things help YouTube realize that this is a relevant conversation for more people to get involved in, so that some people, like the gentleman in question in this video, could actually find us and then
And get some resolve.
get some resolve. Absolutely. Rob, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you
Happy
and
Saturday
to
to
you,
you.
and we'll see you next Saturday at 9:30 a.m.